All right, and it looks like we are live. Let me get this all set up. Hold on one second. There we go. And get this boy set up. That's not it. Capture. Let's get this set up. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Well, hold up a second. Let me get it set up. That's not one to do right. Come on, come on. Why is it not wanting to? Hold up a second. I'm sorry. Trying to figure out why it's not wanting to do. Hold on a second. I know it's taking a little while. Hold on a second. Why are you not wanting to show up with the background? Let's see here. Sources. Into capture. There we go. Well, why are you not? Oh, goodness gracious. Why is it not wanting? Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. I don't want to show my background. Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. Why are we doing this now? I had to go through all the stuff trying to start new stuff, so that's why it took me a little bit because I basically get my new thing set up, and now I'm trying to make sure that I have everything written down right. And now it wants to be kind of difficult, which is not great. Not great at all. Let's try keywords. Try to get this fixed. Come on, work for me. Okay, come on. I have no idea why it's not wanting to show up. Well, at least it shows me. At least there's that. But why does it not want to? I hate this. I hate this. I hate this so much. So very much. Again, I'm sorry it's taken so long to try to get this set up. It shouldn't be. I don't know why it's not wanting to. Well, okay, well that's not going to be great. Let me fix this. I think I think I know a way I could fix this. Though I'll need to. What in the world? There we go. I'm just gonna make myself full screen. I'm going to get. Gosh, I'm going to, if it will allow me, please let me. There we go. So Parker, how you doing? How you doing? All right. So I'm going to step up just for a second. I'm going to get my whiteboard. I'm going to clean that, and then we're going to start the stream. So again, Sorry that it's taking so long. It's taking me so long to get the setup. Again, I am with my new computer. Hopefully everything's working out pretty well. I don't know, it's first time using it. And yeah, so let me just do that 1 second. Hold up a second. I'll be back in just about 5-ish minutes. Not even that. And it's not coming off. That's not great. Okay, well. This is not the way that I wanted it to go. Dang it. Okay. Well, trying to pivot. You know what? Screw it. I'll just. Instead of waiting for forever, I'm just going to go through with it. And if anyone has any questions, I can. If anybody has any questions, I can just, repeat what I said. Unfortunately, that's the way it's going to go. So, not the way that I wanted this obviously to go, but I'll just have to roll with it, learn new things. So, some announcements. Obviously, yes, it has been a while since I posted. I have been busy with work, but I have gotten all of my player rankings done. I've gotten all of my uh, my what I think Payman's going to do the draft, and I've got a skit idea that I want to post by Wednesday. I'm gonna try to get it out by Tuesday, but for sure by Wednesday. So finally having a skit out for, gosh, I don't know the last time I did a skit. It's been a while. So having that be coming out. I should have the first position ranking coming out tomorrow. I'll do quarterbacks and running backs both in the same exact video because there's not a lot of people that I really like. And then this Saturday and Sunday, I can be able to post. I can be able to, crank out a whole lot of them because I'll be going to. I'll be having just basically the whole entire weekend off. So I'll just basically just edit those videos together, get that done. So that should be fun. So have those videos out, and then like I said, obviously we'll be streaming the draft as I have done for the past. This will be the third straight. This will be the third draft that I've done. And in case you are new to the channel, one of the things that I do when I stream is I stream it with my friend Luke. So if you've ever seen Luke in the chat, stream with Luke. And so I'll be over at his place. We'll stream the day one. So like first round, it was also stream day two. So second and third round. I don't know if I will stream the. I don't know if I'll stream the day three. I don't know if I'll do 4 through 7. That might be a little too long. At that rate, I might just do a bunch of Panthers videos about like how I feel about the draft. So I'll look into that. I don't know just yet what I'm gonna do for there, but for sure, streaming with Luke. So obviously, like I said, check out his channel, Fourth Down Blitz. And yeah, so you'll see us on Thursday. So going into my third mock draft, and as I go into the third mock draft. I also took it went into the second round. So not only am I actually going to be showing like teams that I haven't shown yet, because again, some teams will have first round picks, but also just a better understanding of like where I think people are going to go. Now, even though I'm not going to be able to show, because for some odd reason my thing's kind of messing up, I'm not going to be able to show who is available. I can at least like say who is available and to kind of give you like an idea of like I think that even if the board falls this way, I think teams are going to go in this direction. Now, I have gone back and forth on certain picks because basically I've collected a whole bunch of information as far as like every single combine visit that's been reported, every single draft, like top 30 visit they've done, pro day visit that the teams have gone to try to make sure that, okay, I know exactly who they're trying to go after. Because my main thing is this: I want to make sure, that I have as much information as possible of who's available, who are they trying to target, what position they're trying to target. Because I want to make sure that my mock draft is as is as close as resemble as possible. That's what I'm hoping for. So, like I said, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, it's pretty obvious, unless you're living under a rock, that Fernando Mendoza is going number one overall. I think that obviously you have some people who are on the, Ty Simpson train. If you are, you know, Orlovsky. But my thing is this: I still do love Ty Simpson, and you'll see that in the video coming out tomorrow. But I am not taking Ty Simpson over Fernando Mendoza. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I don't understand. I understand where Dan's coming from as far as like how early the season Ty Simpson was playing ridiculously well. I mean, I had him in my QB1 at that point in time, but after the injuries, and then in big moments with Fernando Mendoza as the season went on, he also made big plays as well. That's the reason why I was like, yeah, I'll go Fernando Mendoza, my number one QB. So obviously, number one overall is going to be Fernando Mendoza. Not really any kind of change there. Now, I will say this for number two. I do think this is typically where the draft starts. Which edge rusher is the Jets going to take? Who they decide, like if they decide to take Arvo Reese, there was a big thing of like, oh, the Chargers are going to trade down and the Cowboys are going to trade their first two picks to get all the way to three. That makes no sense to me. Again, I think it's going to be David Bailey number two. I'll say that. But I think the rumor that you have the Cowboys who traded two first-round picks away for Micah Parsons to go to the Packers, and then you trade two first-round picks for an unproven commodity. Like, I like David Bailey, but am I liking David Bailey more than paying Micah Parsons more money? No, like that doesn't make any sense. So again, like I don't like that view of that's what the Cardinals are going to do. That's what the Cowboys are going to do. So instead, like I said, I think Jets are going to take David Bailey because, in my mind, I think Muji is good. I think Darren Muji, like I said, the GM for the Jets, he is good. He's going to have like a little bit longer leash. Does Glenn though? That's my concern. Obviously, with Woody Johnson being the owner, is he going to just like, okay, we'll have just another bad season and then be fine? And even though Arvo Reese, I think, has a higher ceiling than David Bailey, right now you're looking at David Bailey as being the more, the better prospect, being like he is going to have impact on day one for sure. Now, obviously, that's kind of a crapshoot, but the thought process of David Bailey is going to be immediate starter, immediate kind of guy that's going to get that's going to produce in the NFL. And if you are the Jets, especially if you're Aaron Glenn, you need that. So taking David Bailey with number two. Now going to the Cardinals again. Just as I said before, where I think that with the Jets that Darren Mujian's fine, but the question is kind of for Aaron Glenn. It is the opposite way for the Cardinals. Does Monty Ossenfort have another year in him? Does he? I don't know. I think obviously, like I said, it's weird if you're the Cardinals that you decide to keep Monty but then get into a head coach, because then if you don't like Monty and you let him go, then you're letting the head coach pick his GM, which is going to cause some kind of problems, obviously, because like I said, there's a little power dynamic there. But I don't mind Monty Ossenfort. I think that he's made some good moves. His tell is really going to be, can he hit on his third round pick? Because I don't think he's going to be able to trade down. Is he going to be able to, is he going to be able to trade it down? If he is, he's going to try to get a bunch of picks. But if you absolutely nail your third overall pick, and what we think that Walter Nolan is going to be able to progress, maybe Will Johnson be able to progress, I think he can save his job. So this number 3 pick is very, very crucial. Um, Obviously, a lot of people thought maybe they go Jeremiah Love with the fact that you got Tyler Rozier to pair up with your already crowded running back room. Um, I don't think they try to get Jeremiah Love. Um, I would love for them to go right tackle here because, again, their right tackle situation is abysmal. I mean, outside of Paris Johnson, the offensive line needs a little bit of help. But I don't think they go there because they used to be a little too high for some of these offensive linemen. So instead, they take the guy in Arvo Reese. Now, obviously, there are some Cardinals fans that are very, very concerned with the fact that, hey, this before was Zaven Collins. I think it's a little bit different. I understand with Zaven Collins because I remember him coming out of Tulsa because Tulsa had that weird that 3-3 defense, and you rarely see a 3-3 defense out of high school. Like I remember watching film of Zaven Collins, and I was just like, this is just odd. This is odd to see like at the college level. So he was athletic dude, big dude, yada yada yada. And I understand there's concerns. There's some concerns about Zayden Collins, concerned about the whole Isaiah Simmons situation, where Isaiah Simmons was jack of all trades, master of none. But I think that if you have Arvo Reese being more so a edge rusher, and then occasionally, you could put him, you can't put him back at linebacker as a QB spy in certain senses. I think that's fine. For his rookie year, trying to get him in your system, more custom, where it'll be easier for him to play edge rusher compared to trying to play linebacker. I would say um, as far as instant impact, he's got great pursuit, amazing pursuit. He's already as of right now, he has got a great step off. He's got a great first step. Obviously, he needs to improve his pass rush moves if that's what they're planning on for him to do, which I know that's what he wants to do. Um, but if you're looking at the athletic gifts, it's there. I obviously for me, I will be a little lower Arvo Reese because in my mind, I understand that people are trying to put him as Michael Parsons. People are trying to put him as that. I see him as the kind of same exact way with Carter was last year, and I wasn't that high on Carter either. I liked Carter as being a kind of guy that who can develop, but he was not going to be that guy in day one. I don't think that for Arvo Reese either, but I think there's potential for him to break out, especially if he's able to go to the Cardinals, who already have a great pass rusher in Josh Sweat and already have a physical specimen in the middle with Walter Nolan. And Walter Nolan could continue to be what he can be. Because I loved Walter Nolan coming out last year. So I think taking Arvo Reese is great for the for the Cardinals. So those are my top 3. I think that's pretty safe. But then we go to pick number 4, and it's just the perfect pick for me because I understand that there are some people who are very much on the train of, well, we gotta get you know we gotta get him some we gotta get Cam Ward some pass catchers, and I agree. You gotta get some pass catchers, but I think this wide receiver draft class is very deep. Is there the difference makers that there have been in years past? No, they have a lot of question marks. Like I think the top 3 guys have their question marks. That's going to make them not be like the Malik Neighbors or even like I said, you know, I liked JSN back when it came out way more than other people did. But I don't think it's gonna be like that kind of thing. But if I'm a Titans, both, and you'll know where I'm going with this after I say this, both running backs are on expiring contract after this year. both running backs are good, but are they as dynamic as what Jeremiah Love's going to bring you? And I get that they're like, as much as I love Mina Kimes is very much against Jeremiah Love to the Titans, and she's like, well, if you go to Jeremiah Love to the Titans, he's going to expect some stack boxes, and I agree. However, giving giving Cam Ward this kind of weapon to take the pressure off of you as a young quarterback, and with the arm that Cam Ward has, with Brian Dable being the OC, I think there's potential for this offense to be dynamic with their 35th pick. I will talk about that in a second. But you take one of, if not the only, but definitely the only elite running backs in this draft class. I think the other ones are good, not quite up to great. So if I'm looking at like getting a dynamic player that, yes, like I'll have, as soon as his rookie year's contract is up, I got to pay him the big bucks or he move on. But you've got 5 years with what we see him as being one of the elite players of this draft class. And as much as like people were trying to say Sonny Styles to the Titans because, oh, well, he had Fred Warner, he had I'll tell you who they have for the C.J. Mosley. Like I said, I get that. However, Fred Warner was a third-round pick. Even last year, you didn't have the linebacker core being like made up of these first or second-round picks. These are third and fourth-round picks. In my mind, I think that this linebacker draft class is very, very deep. That the Titans potentially could, with their third-round pick, trade up in the second to get somebody who's fallen, or wait to the third round and pick up somebody like maybe Anthony Hill, maybe I don't think Jake Galladay is going to get there, but like maybe somebody who starts to fall, they try to trade up for to make sure they get their linebacker for the future. Like I said, they have the draft capital to do so. Like I said, in my mind, I'm not that concerned about the linebacker play because I really believe that even if it's not the top of the line linebacker prospects that they're going to have, the kind of scheme they run, the kind of coach that Robert Saleh is, he can make it work. So again, I'm not as concerned as some people are. So again, I love this Jeremiah Love to the Titans, and I think it's going to be a great pick for Cam Ward. Now, going to the Giants, this is tricky because earlier I was so much on the Sonny Styles train to go into the Giants because before free agency, like I said, their linebacker core was trash, absolutely abysmal. Then they got Trayvon Edmunds, and I was like, well, I mean, like, I like that pairing with Edmunds and with Sonny Styles. And then it started to come out that they're prioritizing offensive and defensive line, and I was like, okay. I know they like Spencer Fano, but would I take Spencer Fano at 5? No, I would not. In a scenario, I'm not trading down. I've given myself only 5 trades to make in this 2-round mock draft because I don't want to make it, a super long mock draft is going to be as long as it is. So I'm not trading down from 5. Though if the Giants trade down from 5 and they miss on Sonny Styles, then I think they go Spencer Fano. But I think they stick and pick. I think that Joe Schoen knows this might be his last year as the Giants GM. So you just got to make sure you get the best possible players, period. So if you ever get Sonny Styles pairing him up with Edmunds, hopefully your run defense looks a lot better because your run defense has been atrocious last year. And I think upgrading the linebacker play is going to be very important for the Giants. So going to the Browns, before I look back over here and make sure there's no see if there are any comments or anybody has any concerns. Browns, in my opinion, obviously it's either is it wide receiver or is it lineman at first. There have been some people who have been pushing Monroe Freeling at 6. I just don't see it. I get that he has great bend. He's super malleable. He has so much potential. I get that, but like at 6, that's too rich for me. So like even though it's been like pushed a lot, I'm not taking that bait. Instead, if I'm the Browns, what is one of the major concerns, that you had last year? One, you can say quarterback play, sure, but the other one, besides having like a patchwork offensive line, is the fact that your wide receivers couldn't catch the ball. And if I am the Browns and I have the potential of getting Carnell Tate, who has like I don't even remember. I don't think I think he dropped like maybe one ball. Like he has ridiculously good hands. He's Ohio State going to going to Cleveland. Um, you've got that bigger body wide receiver that you don't have right now. I mean, you have Tillman, but like I was okay with Tillman, but you get Carnell Tate. You pair him up with the amazing tight end that you already have. You got two great weapons. Obviously, you'll have your running back. You'll see what you have with Shadur. Maybe like with an improved offensive line, with an improved wide receiver core, it might be able to show out. But I think if Carnell Tate's there at 6, I don't think they're going to try to take a tackle here. I think they feel confident they can probably get their left tackle of the future at pick 24, and it'd be fine. Because I think that some of the left tackles are going to follow this draft, and I'll be honest about that. So going into pick 7, like I said, I'm trying to hurry up some of these picks just to kind of make sure I can kind of get through because again we have 64 picks. Pick 7 is the Commanders. Now, Commanders go a lot of different ways. I think they did a pretty decent job in free agency making sure they got their edge rusher. So they're not trying to make sure they get their edge rusher. So even though I'm a big fan of Ruben Bain, and if Ruben Bain falls here, like obviously they'd be tempted to try to get him. I don't think they will take him. But, and I won't do it in my mock draft, but I have done it in past mock drafts. I have thought either the Commanders or the Giants will trade down. I try not to do it in this draft because, again, it kind of screws some things up. But in my mind, the Commanders could be a possible trade down candidate because they don't have a second round pick. And that went to the Texans. The Texans have 2 second round picks, 2 high second round picks. So, well, 1 high second round pick, and then they have their own second round pick. So, if I'm the Commanders and I'm looking at, okay, well, we have Ruben Bain on the board. Somebody might trade up for him so they could trade down. Maybe, you might have like a Miami who might trade up because they have plenty of picks. That's been one of my favorite mocks to them is having Miami trade back up to try to get Ruben Bain, keep him in Miami. But in this case, if I'm the Commanders and I want to get my guy, I don't want to trade down because there's a case that maybe the Saints take this guy, maybe the Chiefs take this guy, and this is Mekhi Lemon. And the reason why I'm saying Mekhi Lemon is this. One, just a wide receiver core in general. Washington Commanders, you got Terry McLaurin. Nah, that's about it. You got Treylon Burks and then McCaffrey, which McCaffrey's okay. Like, he's fine. But am I feeling great about this wide receiver core, especially if Terry McLaurin goes down? No, absolutely not. So, in my mind, you got to improve that. You got to improve that position group. And who's new OC? That's David Blau. He was a quarterbacks coach. Now he's offensive coordinator. Young, I think he's like 30. And the fact is that during his playing time, I mean, you can even see during Hard Knocks, they're at the Lions. He saw and he played with Amon-Ra St. Brown. He saw how much that was important for a Ben Johnson-esque offense, which they have said they're going to try to do a lot more Ben Johnson-esque offense with a lot of more motion. That's going to fit perfectly with Mekhi Lemon. And I know that some people might say that might be a little bit high for Mekhi Lemon. I think you take him at 7, and you're fine. Yes, you might want to trade down, get more assets, and maybe you trade down and you get him. Maybe you do. But are you for sure satisfied that, oh, yeah, no, I'm definitely going to get Mekhi Lemon if I trade down to, like, pick 10 or 11? I don't think so. So I think I say stick and pick. You get your guy. You get now 2 great wide receivers for Dane Daniels to work with, and it fits perfectly for your offense. So again, Mekhi Lemon going to the Commanders. Unfortunately, that's the only Commanders pick for this mock draft because again they don't have a second round pick. But I think that Commander fans will be satisfied with Mekhi Lemon. Now going to the Saints, Saints get a lot of different ways too. Um, Obviously, they could take a talent like Caleb Downs because I mean you even saw with Brandon Staley's defenses of the Chargers and how they did well with the great safety like um, oh my goodness, why am I losing names right now? Charger safety, you know what I'm talking about. Don't know why I can't think of the name right now. Picture his face. Goodness gracious, I'm so embarrassed right now. But again, um, you know how like important it is like to have like I said that extremely versatile safety that can pretty much do anything. So Caleb Downs could be a situation here. I've thought about that. Um, there's even like well if they could even go after Ruben Bain possibly, which would oh my gosh that would be awful. I love Ruben Bain so much I'd hate to see him in the Saints uniform. Ruben Bain being paired up with Carl Granderson and Chase Young. However, I understand like a lot of people try to say like, well, they need the edge rusher in my mind, I think that they work out the money to be able to bring back Cam Jordan. I would just think they're possibly able to do so. And secondly, like even if they are not, you have two guys. Are you really going to try to pay a eighth overall pick for a backup? I don't think so. So in my mind, I don't think they're going to go edge rusher. Could they go wide receiver if McCollum is there? I think they're possibly there. I do think because like the wide receiver their their wide receiver core is pretty abysmal. If I'm a Saints, am I taking Jordan Tyson? No, because yes, as Jordan Tyson, like I said, I think he's my top guy. Injury concerns very concerning, and that's been the main thing for the Saints. So I don't think you will take at pick 8 an injury prone wide receiver where you're already concerned about your other injury prone wide receiver. So don't think you go there. Instead, and this is a pick that if happens on draft day, I am going to be very upset because I've foreseen it and I love the combo so much, but I would hate going against it. Monsieur Delane and Kool-Aid McKinstry combining for a crazy dynamic duo. A crazy dynamic duo. Like right now, the cornerback room is pretty bad for the Saints because yes, you got Kool Aid. Kool Aid can kind of move anywhere, but outside of him, you lost Boston Adebo. The rest of your guys is not really all that good. So if you're able to pair Kool Aid McKinstry, who's going to year 3, I believe, yep, going to year 3 as second round pick, and then you get Monsieur Delane, so you have two young guns in the secondary with paired with yes you got Justin Reed, you got Julian Blackman as your free safety, so like the starting guys for your cornerback room is looking pretty good. And like I said, Kool McKinstry, he can be able to play inside if need be. Like I said, if he needs to play more there's like maybe like a bigger slot receiver, like sometimes AJ Brown will be. Kool-Aid can play that role instead of maybe the smaller nickel they might have. Because I'm not sure who's going to be starting at nickel for them, depending on maybe they draft somebody a little later on. But their secondary being vastly improved scares me half to death. I'm very concerned about what the Saints are going to do with this number 8 pick because to me, as a Panthers fan, I know it's kind of weird to say, but I think they're the closest. They're going to be the closest team to try to beat us for the divisions. I think the Buccaneers have kind of plateaued. I don't know about the Falcons right now, but the Saints scare me a lot. So getting Monsieur Delane is going to be huge for the Saints, pairing with Kool McKinstry, and have a dynamic duo for the next 6 or so years, maybe. Who knows? But again, that'll be very very scary if that happens. So going into the Chiefs, like I said, they kind of gotta hurry up just a little bit. But going to the Chiefs, obviously, like I said, they have a lot of needs, but the perfect guy fell to them, and that's Ruben Bain. Obviously, this happens on draft night. There will be so many people who are upset, but I think it's a possibility. I mean, Ruben Bain, yes, the story came out about him with the car accident, but a lot of teams do about it. The arm length that's been cause for concern as well. But at the same exact time, I mean, like you're talking about a guy who is there's been a lot of problems with having the arm length and like being like if it's correct or not. You're having a whole lot of problems of you know well, this guy is more athletic, this guy's more athletic, and they just don't pan out in the NFL. You're seeing him absolutely dominant on the college level, and it's not like because of this freak accident. No, he is he has amazing power. The way Miami uses him on the defensive line is like you cannot beat him on the edge. We dare you. We dare you to try to beat him on the edge. You can't. And so, if at bare minimum, Ruben Bain is just an amazing run defender and could give you 8 sacks a season, I will take that. Yes, like I said, is that noteworthy? No. But if you're the Chiefs, you will take that. You will absolutely take a running partner with Karlaftis, hopefully finally, because again, Karlaftis hasn't really done as much as he probably should. But now you got to run it with Karlaftis and also Bain with Chris Johnson, and hopefully, like I said, your depth can finally kind of come together. But like that's a dangerous room. That's a dangerous defensive line room, especially if Karlaftis can elevate when he has a great running partner. Who knows? Um, Last one's chalk. This is chalky. I mean, like if Caleb Downs falls to the Bengals, it's going to happen. Just a short little thing. Obviously, Golden. Um, he works well with great dynamic safeties. You saw that when he was a Notre Dame defensive coordinator. So if Bain falls, not if Bain, if Downs falls to them, it's a no-brainer. They're going to take Bain. They're take Downs. He is one of the top prospects in the league. I know he's a safety. I don't care. He can do anything that he wanted to. So again, in my mind, that's absolutely perfect for them. Now for the Dolphins, they're just saying best player available, and best player available on my board is gonna be Francis Mauigoa. Now it just helps them, in fact, keeping a Miami guy in Miami. That's good for ticket sales as well, because like I said, people are going to want to see like the player they cheer for. Hopefully he'll be able to succeed, and if it's a need, because yes, do they have Austin Jackson at right tackle? At right guard is pretty bad. So if they want to put Mauigoa at right guard, they can. If they want to put Mauigoa at right tackle and move Austin Jackson inside, they can do that as well. You're just kind of hoping that you can fill out this offensive line to help protect Malik Neighbors, not Malik Neighbors, Malik Willis, because at the end of the day, I think that they're going to be in it for the long haul with Malik Willis. Even if they get their first overall pick next year, I don't think they're going to go quarterback. In my mind, I think the Dolphins are actually going to trade that pick and get a whole haul. So again, in my mind, you just take best available for the Dolphins. Every now and then you might make a trade up, just make sure you get your guy. But it's just trying to fill out a competitive roster and not get blown the brakes off of you every single game at this rate. Cowboys. Cowboys is an interesting one too, because again, Cowboys go a lot of directions. Do they go cornerback? Do they go linebacker? Do they go safety? They're going to talk about them trying to go after edge as well. I mean, they did get Rashawn Gary, which is I don't feel great about, but at least it's not going to force you to have to go edge rusher with your first pick. So now you have Gary with Ezraku, and now you're like, okay, I can try to fill out some of these other positions that I desperately need to fill out for. And one of them, in my opinion, is because players on an expiring contract this year, and also old, and also injury prone. That's Malik Hooker. So if I'm looking at the Cowboys and I have this outstanding player just staring me down in the face, that's Dylan Thieneman. I think that, like I said, I'm definitely high on Dylan Thieneman, but I think other people are too. I think he's kind of raising the ranks, especially at the combine. Again, whatever your views on the combine is, but Dylan Thieneman is absolutely outstanding player. He's the kind of guy that, oh my gosh, I'm watching the Auburn Florida game. We're sucking right now. But again, Dylan Thieneman, he's the kind of guy that can play all over. He's great. He's a great deep safety as well. So if you need him to play in that role, like I said, for eventually take over for Malik Hooker, or for the time being, let him play closer to the box you can. Like I said, I have no problem with that at all. He's a dynamic safety. I think that as much as I love Caleb Downs, if I'm picking 12 to 18 and I'm able to get Dylan Thieneman, I don't think I'm hurting that bad that I missed out on Caleb Downs. I don't think it's as big of a gap as I used to think it was. That might just be because like, I just got so used to Caleb Downs. Maybe that might cloud some of my judgment. But I just think that Dylan Thielen is going to be a great safety as well. Both of them are going to play for 8+ years. Probably some Pro Bowls in there for sure. Maybe an All Pro, not who knows. But again, I think these are great safeties. And if I'm the Cowboys, I would be jumping for joy that I'm trying to fix the secondary because it's the Cowboys defense in general, which is a mess, and hopefully you can be able to fix it some way, some form. So going to the Rams, the Rams board hasn't quite gone the way they're hoping for. Obviously, they were looking for possibly Mekhi Lemon. Obviously, they're looking for maybe they're going to look for a right tackle like a Magnoa. There might not be a Spencer Fowler kind of person. Who knows? But at pick 13, they could stick a pick, which I think is a possibility. Or because there's not been any kind of draft, there's not been any kind of trades just yet. At this rate, you kind of look like I feel like there's got to be a trade. So in my mind, in this mock draft I have, this is where a team is starting to get kind of desperate and being like, I feel like I need to. I feel like I need to try to get my guy. There's a guy that's fallen that this team desperately needs, and the home crowd would love it. In my mind, with the Steelers having 12 picks, having multiple like third round picks, and being able to just they were able to move up the board if they need to. Same thing with the Dolphins if they need be. But I think the Steelers trade it with the Rams. Now, what would they have to give up? So obviously they're going from 21 all the way to 13. Big deal. 21 all the way to 13. So if I'm the Rams, obviously I get 21 back. I get 21. I get 76. So that is the first of the third round picks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have 76, 85, and then technically 99. So like I said, they have those third round picks, but you're only losing the third round pick. But you got to kind of sweeten the load a little bit more. Because again, you're going up, you're going up about 8 spots. What about a 2027 third? A 2027 third gives the Rams the third round pick that they desperately need because they don't have a 2027 third because they traded it for Trent McDuffie. Now you get, in your mind, would probably be a better third round pick than what you would have had because you're getting it from the Steelers and you're assuming that you're going to be a Super Bowl favorite, not the Steelers. So if you're the Rams and this trade comes calling, which I think is fair for both sides, Pittsburgh still has it number 53. They still have a great second round pick to be able to get another guy that they might desperately need. So if I'm a Steelers, I love this pick. Again, and like I said, based upon the trade value, I mean, obviously Pittsburgh should give it a little bit, like 51.2, which is about what I would say has to be close to 51. I don't say 52. I think it's a little bit too high, but close to like 51% if you're going up that many spots. And I think the Rams will take it. So Rams trading down to 21, the pick of a third round pick, number 76, and the 2027 third. And now the Steelers are looking at Spencer Fontenot because right now your offensive line is in a standstill. Your left side of your offensive line is not looking too good. Not looking too good. I don't feel great about, I think his name's Spencer Anderson, if I remember correctly, your left guard. And I liked Broderick Jones, but right now it's not been great. And there's been some calls for him to be gone. In my mind, I remember Troy Fontana was a left tackle in college. Troy Fontana could be a left tackle in the NFL. And he had a pretty decent year last year. Who's to say we can't move Troy Fontana over to left tackle, move Broderick Jones inside to left guard and put Spencer Fontenot right tackle, or you could just keep it how it is, have Spencer Fontenot at left guard, and then if Broderick Jones doesn't work out, just decide to move Spencer Fontenot over. So again, like it's not, in my mind, it gives you the most position flexibility in case somebody goes down. It's an absolute stud of a player who I love, Spencer Fontenot. I think he'd be great in the NFL. And like I said, it's the kind of pick that I think Steelers fans are going to love because again, I try to do the I try to do the Ty Simpson pick. I thought maybe that maybe like well with everything going on, I don't really know what Steelers are going to do. At this rate, it's pretty much inevitable. I think that either they're just going to roll with Will Howard and just see how this season goes, or they're going to sign Aaron Rodgers back. One of the two. I don't think they're going to take a quarterback high. If anything, maybe they go after like a Garrett Nussmeier in the third round or something like that. But I would be surprised. So in my mind, I think Steelers are just going to try to load up on picks, try their best to build up this team around either a young guy in Will Howard or one last ride for Aaron Rodgers, and then go all in on 2027. That's what that would be my idea of what the Steelers are going to do. Ravens is another chalk pick. Again, same thing with the Bengals with Caleb Downs. This is a chalk pick too. If Awane is there, the Vega Awane from Penn State's there. He's going to be taken by the Ravens. Obviously, both him and Stefano have both said that they have practice being center in the offseason, which I agree. Like I said, both. Like, obviously, the Ravens need that. So either one of them is going to be perfect for the Ravens. But I think Awane is going to fit better for the Ravens, and he's an absolute stud. Like, I think he should go top 10, but I think he's going to fall somehow. I don't know why, but again, there's going to be players that fall all the time. I think he's one of those players. So, like I said, it's a chalk pick. Buccaneers, dude. Oh my goodness, Buccaneers are so confusing me because, like, on one hand, they could go after Kenyon Sadiq. They could go after athletic tight end. They could look for a guy who's like, all right, well, let's go with Kenyon Sadiq to give us athletic tight end for Zach Robinson to do his work. I wouldn't love that. They could do it. Uh, if you're the Bucks, you could go. Well, maybe it might be too early, but let's make sure we get our linebacker. And so we try to maybe if Sonny Styles starts falling, we try to trade up. I don't think they'll trade up. If anything, they'll trade down. I think it's a bit too early for C.J. Allen. I think it'll be too early for Jacob Rodriguez. So again, that's not in the cards. And then for edge rusher, that's what I think they're going to go for. But who are they going to go for edge rusher? Again, a lot of people want them to go Cassius Howe. I think that's a possibility. Or are you looking for a guy that's going to be producing right now? In my mind, that could be, and like I said, I know there'll be some Bucks fans that might not like this pick. Hopefully you do, but I think you go. I think you go Mesidor. I think Mesidor could be an option because one, if you are Todd Bowles, you need to work out right now. You are very desperate because I think you're in the road, so you have to win the division, and you got to win a playoff game. If that doesn't happen this year, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be gone. Like that, like everything that we kind of heard so far, that's what kind of seems like was the case. So if that's the way that we're looking at it, I'm looking for someone who's been producing right now, who's got a very high floor. Yes, he's 25. So what? You're gonna have him for 5 years, and then after that 5th-year option is done, he's gone. Again, you get to work with those great 5 years of great production. So I don't think this. I don't. If Mesidor was a work in progress, then yeah, 25 is too old. But if he's as good as he is right now, at 25 years old, I'm fine picking him at pick 15. So Keem Mesidor going to the Bucks, needing edge rush help right here, right now, getting him instead of going for the project in the Keldrick Falk. Jets, here number 16. This one's another kind of chalk pick for me. If Tyson's there, I think they're going to take Jordan Tyson. I understand that, yes, the injuries are a little bit of concern because, again, you're talking about the fact that Jordan Tyson has had he had a collarbone, a I think it was hamstring was one of them. ACL, like I said, he's had definitely have some problems trying to stay on the field. However, my thing is this: Jordan Tyson's talent is way too much for him to drop past 16. He is my wide receiver number 1 because yes, he got hurt the last 2 seasons, but it was like combined 4 games, which is still significant, but not as significant as people are trying to make it out to be. yes, you're concerned about people are calling to question his toughness, but in my mind, I think he is an absolute stud. Great releases, great catch, and actually he's got some yak ability as well. He's the kind of guy that I think can be a number one. I think he can. And pairing him with Garrett Wilson would be a great pairing for the Jets. So getting Jordan Tyson for the Jets is going to be, um, I say, a great move to try and help this offense get some semblance of a passing game. Because once Garrett Wilson went down, I mean, it was already game over. But the Jet season, which just went absolutely horrible. So now on to the Lions. Lions pick 17. I know that they're very big on Kane Proctor. I don't understand it. I'm not that big on Kane Proctor, but who am I? Who am I to judge? So if I'm the Lions, and I know that I'm high on Kane Proctor, I know the Vikings are going to take Kane Proctor. You don't feel that the Panthers are going to take an offensive tackle, though a lot of people want us to. I don't think we're going to. Do you think that the Cowboys are going to take an offensive tackle? Absolutely not. So if you're the Lions, you're open for business because again, you do not have a third round pick. Now, why don't you have a third round pick? Well, it's because of the fact that you got your guy in Tesla. So they're also open for trading. And why not trade with an old partner in the Rams? But you ask yourself, but the Rams just trade down from 13. Yes, but in this scenario, basically, you only trade down 3 spots, and or 4 spots, and you got a third round pick for next year. That's not your third round pick, and you have a better third round pick. Because if you look at, I'll show you just a second. Now again, I wish I could show you visual media. I'm very upset this is not working. But right now, for what the trade could be, obviously, like I said, you have the Lions. They have pick 17, pick 50, and they don't pick again until 118. That's a huge drop off. The Rams have 21, 61, 76, then 93. In order to get 17, you only got to give it that 93. So instead of trading, the Steelers' third round pick, you have your own. Oh my gosh, blunder. It sucks trying to watch Auburn baseball right now. Okay. Anyways, like I said, Lions, Rams trade. Rams moving up 4 spots. Only got to give up their third round pick. So they basically climb up from 93 to 76 in the third round and get another third round pick for next year's draft in this kind of trade scenario. I know it's kind of weird for me to use a team twice. We're not going to only use 5 trades, but still, I love this trade for both teams. And then the Rams get to get their guy. And in my mind, yes, I understand that there is possibility they could try to trade for A.J. Brown. I don't think A.J. Brown. I think he's going to go to the Patriots. But if I'm also the Rams, I'm going to go all in. I miss out on Mekhi Lemon. But what's a great option when I don't get Mekhi Lemon? That's me, Omar Cooper Jr. And I'm taking Omar Cooper Jr. at pick 17 for the Rams. Rams now have, obviously, Puka Nacua comes out of rehab, but you got Puka Nacua, got Davante Adams, and you got Omar Cooper Jr. That's ridiculously good. That's ridiculously good. Again, if I'm the Rams, I feel great. I got a higher third round pick this year. I'm definitely going to have a higher third round pick next year. I'm feeling great, and it's because of the fact that the Falcons traded me, wanted to trade me next year, last year's first round pick. So again, I think it's great. And then for the Vikings, their pick at 18. Normally, this would be the Dylan Thieneman. He's already gone. I think he's going to be gone. They go one of 2 ways. They could go Caden McDonald, or they could go in a different direction. Right now, they are in a weird cap situation because of what all this happened. Obviously, they're also in a new. There's a new interim GM for this. Who knows what's going to happen? A lot of players who they signed in this window have gotten a little bit older, going to start getting cut. So I'm looking to replace. Like I said, I would love for them to go K McDonald, but I don't think they're going to go to because they need to fix that interior. A player that's fallen to them that a lot of people are trying to say that the Panthers should take, Kenyon Sadiq. And the reason why I'm taking Kenyon Sadiq is because for the time being, having him paired up with oh shoot, name having him paired up with tight end not Hawkinson, yeah Hawkinson, having him paired up with T.J. Hawkinson is going to be amazing for the Vikings because again, two tight end sets can be going crazy, but it is a replacement for him for the future because you can go cheaper with also not really losing that much dynamic talent because against Kenyon Sadiq is absolute dynamic talent. And like I said, obviously you're looking to probably get rid of Jordan Tyson because of his whole situation. So now it's not just going to be now next year is not going to just be Justin Jefferson. It's also going to be Kenyon Sadiq. And so again, I think giving another firepower weapon to Kyler Murray, trying to make sure that you can get the best out of your team. And later on, try to fix that interior defensive line because I think they definitely need that. Because again, you got Jalen Redmond, and that's about it. You need some more help. So again, if Kenyon Sadiq falls there, and that's not going to be Dylan Thieneman, I know that the Vikings were one of the people who interviewed Sadiq at the combine, and it was Bucks, Chiefs, Vikings, I think Browns, and the reports coming back about like the kind of like combine visit that he had was that him just his knowledge. That's a KOC guy all through and through. So that's why and I have not seen that at all. I've not seen a single person mock Kenyon Sadiq to the Vikings. Maybe he doesn't fall that far, but if they keep on saying he's going to go to the Panthers, I mean, he could go to the Vikings. So if I am right on draft night that the Vikings take Kenyon Sadiq, I'm going to be thrilled because, again, I ain't seen a single person say it. So now we're at the Panthers. The moment we've all been waiting for. Again, I, before last year, had a 7-year streak of predicting the first round right from Christian McCaffrey onward. And for the most part, it was kind of easy to pick because again, we're top, a top pick. It was kind of easy on who we were going to take. However, last year was a huge smokescreen of what we're going to take on defense. So I was like, oh well, we're probably going to take Jalen Carter. And I'm like, okay, I'm good with that. I'll kind of talk myself into it. And then we take Teddy McMillan. I was like, I did not see that happening, and I was a little bit upset when I got it wrong, and when I was like, all right, I can talk myself into it because I didn't feel great about it, and then it proved me wrong. And so I'm trusting Dan, whatever he wants to do, and I'm trying to predict what he wants to do, and I have no idea. But if I'm in Dan's shoes, and I need desperately for my defense to continue to improve, I got the big names. I got John Phillips. I got Devin Lloyd. I got that. I also invested in my defensive line last year. However, it didn't quite work out the way that I wanted it to. Tershawn Wharton didn't quite work out. Bobby Brown wasn't as best as he probably could have been. So, both of those contracts have an out next year, where both of them combined, cutting them can technically lead up about $20 million. It's like 14. I think it's like 14 million for Tershawn Wharton and 8 million for Bobby Brown. So defensive line is definitely in play. I think linebacker a little too high right here. Could we trade back? I think it's possible to trade back, but as much as I would like us for a trade back, the way that it seems, I think Dan Morgan is just going to stick to his gut and just pick the guy that's there. There's a guy staring me down right now. McPounder, Caden McDonald. McPounder. Again, Caden McDonald is an absolute stud against the run. Our rush defense was not great. It wasn't. But Caden McDonald is an absolute stud against the run. Eats up double teams, frees up your linebackers. That's the reason why you had Sonny Styles and you had Arvil Reese be able to just free roam pretty much anywhere they want to. Um, Basically took over the role that Tyler Williams had last year. I love K. McDonald, and it sure does look like a whole lot of teams love him. K. McDonald and Traden Stukes has like 14 like top 30 visits. He is making the rounds in this offseason, just visiting all kind of teams. So in my mind, if he's there at 19, if he's not taking at 18, this is one of those things that Dan Morgan's not going to hesitate on, because if I can get a running mate for Derrick Brown to finally take off some of the double teams for Derrick Brown so that he can work one-on-one, oh my goodness. Falcons fans, I don't want to dog on you, but the reason why I was always confused that Chris Lindstrom was getting a lot of the hype that he was, because anytime that Chris Lindstrom went one-on-one against Derrick Brown, he would get absolutely mauled. So if I get to see Derrick Brown against Chris Lindstrom more and more and more, because, again, Cam McDonald's taking those double teams, please let me see that. So, again, that's what our defense needs. We're hoping we find Bobby Brown, but we're not getting that out of him. So make sure you get that. And Cam McDonald, absolute would love it. Like I said, you can have you can let Derrick Brown be more of a pass rushing kind of guy, because I think he has the juice to be able to do so. So taking Cam McDonald, pick 19. Now we're at 20 again. I got to kind of rush through this because it's already 9 o'clock. Goodness gracious. So Cowboys. I think that this player is going to kind of fall because of the injury. I think that yes, him running fast is going to cause people like, oh, he's still going to go top 10 now. Though I think it's possible he could go to the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs do like him. I think they're going to be fine taking a lesser guy, probably pick 29 maybe. So that's in my plan. That's what I think the Chiefs are going to do instead of taking Jamal McCoy. I don't think that the Bengals are going to take Jamal McCoy unless, like I said, Sonny Styles is gone. Then maybe he goes. But after that, he's going to fall down a little bit. If I'm the Cowboys, I just fixed my free safety situation. My cornerback situation is also kind of dire because, again, you're hoping DaRon Bland, improves. You're hoping that maybe, just maybe, that you have, Siobhan Ravel improve. You signed Kobe Bryant, hoping like that can be better. But yes, Jamal McCoy's come with injury, but dude is an absolute stud. Hopefully he can continue to get back to where he was from before. So if he's there at 20, I just don't see the Cowboys skipping on him. And like I said, it's too early for linebacker, who wish they Dawson desperately too. So maybe it's a trade down scenario for the Cowboys. Who knows? But I don't think so. Now, going into the Lions, this obviously, I said, this is Kadyn Proctor. I feel pretty confident the Lions are going to go with Kadyn Proctor. I would love for them to go for more of a Blake Miller role, for Blake Miller to be a right tackle, and you move over up Penei Sewell. But I can't force them to do anything. But they just seem to like him. They've been seen talking to him a whole lot. Same thing with the Panthers. Loving Jacob Rodriguez. I just think it's kind of the same exact thing. So Kadyn Proctor to the Lions, and they get a third-round pick added on top of it. So, again, they're going to be happy as well. Chargers, very fascinating pick. If Dexter Lawrence is traded within the draft, this could be the one that I'm thinking could happen. Chargers they still have some cap space. They're able to pay him. They desperately have a need at nose tackle to get a dominating presence. And if Dexter Lawrence was to go to a playoff kind of caliber team, there you go. So could this be a Giants pick? Maybe, if they trade him before the draft, which I don't think they're going to. I think if I'm the Chargers, I wait, and then I'm just like, yeah, you can have my first-round pick next year. So, but what to do right now? Again, a little bit higher than consensus, but I've seen this happen. I've seen, this been mocked before. I've seen how the top 30 visits, the combine visits, like based upon who the Cardinals are looking after, they could go cornerback here. They could go Colton Hood. Or, hear me out, they need the kind of guy on the edge to replace what they had with OA. Need that explosive guy. You got Thule, you got Khalil Mack, yeah, explosive guy. What's better than maybe a little, Cassius Howard? Again, I understand that the short arms are a big concern, but if I am if I'm the Chargers, and I get to have what in the world just happened? If I am the Chargers, and I get to have, I didn't get the double play. And if I get to have Cassius Howell be in the rotation for my defensive line, that my plan is to trade for Dexter Lawrence. So now I have Dexter Lawrence as my nose. And then I got two studs at edge with a great rotation that I could even move, Dexter Lawrence in. I feel great. I feel fantabulous about my defensive line now. And then yes, you still need cornerback help, but you can get that later on, or it can just be like, let's make it work. Again, that cornerback room is not. I don't feel great about it. All right, again, kind of got to go, not rapid fire, but gotta go quickly. I already made the pick. Why is it still doing that? I don't know why it's still doing that. All right, so now I'm on the Eagles. Obviously, they're going to trade. It's only a matter of time for when they would the trade. Golly, thank the Lord, got him out. It's only a matter of time before they trade AJ Brown. So, do you go after wide receiver here, or do you we'll just let the room of Hollywood Brown, the Packers wide receiver they traded for, Dontavius Wicks, and then Devontae Smith work out? I don't think that they will. I don't know if they will. If they'll just let it be and just trade AJ Brown, try to get a first round pick for next year. I don't know. No idea. But in my mind, they have that situation filled out. They already know they're going to trade AJ Brown. Do you try to draft a replacement? I don't know. But you do need to draft a replacement for someone who's going to retire next year. That's Lane Johnson. So if that's the reason why I paused draft. I don't know. So if I am the Eagles and I have right in front of me Monroe Freeling, who again, I understand the hype. I think it's a little too high. But if I have an option of getting Monroe Freeling on a rookie contract, where this year I'll be able to, train him in the ways of Lane Johnson and him take over Lane Johnson next year, I would love that for not only for Monroe Freeling, but love that for the Eagles. I mean, that would be great for them to be able to have a guy that can be able to mold and who desperately needs to be molded because, again, he only played 1 year. He doesn't have that many starts. I don't know why we keep on rushing people. We keep on being like, oh, he's going to be this. You don't know. So again, let him be able to work it out. Let him be able to learn and not be just shoved into a starting role. He can be able to learn behind one of the greats, one of more than likely a Hall of Famer, and Lane Johnson. I believe, I'm definitely not first ballot, but like I said, probably 7 years after he retires, something like that. Maybe he might become a Hall of Famer. I don't know. But again, he's well worthy of it. So again, Eagles are feeling great. They got their guy to be able to be for the future. Browns, again, as I mentioned before, could they go tackle the first pick? Sure. I think they're going to go edge rusher. Not edge rusher. I think they're going to go wide receiver with the first pick. That just makes more sense to me. And as I said before, I think there's going to be a left tackle that falls to them. Most people think it's going to be Monroe Freeling. I think he's going to be gone before he goes to the Browns. But in this case, they still get Caleb Lomu. I love Caleb Lomu. I think he can also be a great guard, but I think he can still stick a tackle. I feel kind of the same way I felt about him, not kind of in the same way with Kelvin Banks last year. Where I felt Kelvin Banks could be like all pro guard, but I was like, he can still work out a tackle. Like Caleb Lomu, I think can still work out a tackle, but if you put him at a guard, he'd be amazing. But for the Browns, you just need a great starting left tackle. You got Caleb Lomu. The rest of your offensive line is pretty much figured out now because, again, the trades that you made, the signs you made as well. So if you're the Browns, think you're happy with getting Caleb Lomu, of getting filling your offensive line. You need better depth, obviously, but you can do that later on in the draft. But I think you're feeling great. And now for the Bears, another kind of chalky pick. Obviously, Coach Falk is available, but I don't think he fits who they're trying to get. So instead, is it a little reach for some people? Sure, but not to me. That is Zion Young out of Missouri, edge rusher, absolutely dominating presence. He is the kind of guy that you're like, hey, I would, I know there was there was something that came out about him. Um, I think either prior to the combine or something like that. It's something um, uh, car related. I don't know if it was a speeding thing or whatever it was, but so that's a little concerning. That might make him drop a little bit. But like, I still would never forget streaming the Missouri Auburn game and him just absolutely losing his mind in overtime. Actually, end up winning the game. Um, just basically striking the fear of God into some of our players. So I like Zion Young. I think he is an absolute stud. I think pairing him with Montez Sweat would be great for the Bears. Bears would be amazing, but in this scenario, he went to the Panthers. They're going to pivot, probably take a defense cycle a little bit later. They could go after Dexter Lawrence too, but I don't think they will, but they could. Um, so now for the Bills, again, I don't want to take too much time. Um, Bills are so fascinating as well because again, like most of their visits have been with wide receivers, but now um, you got your wide receiver. You don't have a second round pick. Do you want to trade down? Maybe, and that's where a lot of people said like no, maybe the Cardinals trade up to make sure they get their guy in the first round. Um, Bills need to Bills need to get more help, but what they really need was edge rusher, which is like obviously they could try to go after you know Cassius Howe, but he's gone at this point. So instead, with the way this defensive tackle class went, I'm a little bit underwhelmed. Outside of two guys, and they're guys that are good at what they're good at, and that is run stopping. In my mind, if I'm the Bills, you could trade down or take a pick and make sure you get your guy, and that is Christian Miller. Christian Miller at nose to put in this defense that you desperately need when you're moving to Jim Miller's defense. You need a great nose tackle. Christian Miller is that. That is going to be the centerpiece of a defensive line of Ed Oliver, of uh, Walker, and then like I said, you have T.J. Sanders, who's your backup. So again, you got a great interior rotation. You got the fact that your edge rushers need some help, but you can be able to get that later on in the draft. But if you're the Bills, you just need to make sure you have a great transition um, uh, to the 3-4. So getting Christian Miller, great for your defense. Desperately need that. I gotta hurry up. I feel like I'm feeling kind of getting tired right now. So 49ers desperately need some help in the wide receiver room. Obviously, also need some juice as far as yak threat. That's made Casey Concepcion. Obviously, some of the concentration drops is a problem, but I also agree with Mina Combs on this one. I am not a big Marcel Reed fan. Dadgum, that's not fair. So, I'm a big believer that Marcel Reed's not a great quarterback. So I think that had to do with some of the Casey Concepcion drops. But I think he's a stud. I like Casey Concepcion. I know there's a lot of Panthers fans that wanted to take him at 19. I think it's a bit too high for him. But Casey Concepcion going to the 49ers, great for them. They're able to get, like I said, have a great pairing. Now they have Mike Evans and Ricky Pearsall, him with Casey Concepcion will be great for them as far as especially in case somebody gets hurt, which is gonna happen. So going to the Texans, Texans pick here, like I said, pick 28. They could go defensive line or they could go offensive line. In my mind, they go offensive line first. Make sure they get their guy, and it might be a little bit too high for some people, but it's not high for me, and that is going to be Emmanuel Pregnon out of Oregon. A little bit older prospect. Some people like Chase Pasantes a little bit better. I like Pregnon better. I think that the Texans also like him a little better as well. So taking Emmanuel Pregnon at 28. Please go. And oh, it hit double. Yeah, I guess okay. Like I said, I'm still watching the Auburn game, even though we're losing 6-1 at the top of the seventh. Not great. Uh, anyways, um, now on to the Chiefs. So as I said before, they got Ruben Bain. They need cornerback help, obviously, obviously. But if you are the Chiefs, this is looking great for you. Do you want to go for Avion Terrell? I'm not that high on Avion Terrell. I think his coverage is great, but his run defense is a lot to be desired, and also he's coming for injury, so not the great. But there is a cornerback that I love. That is Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. Chris Johnson at San Diego State can play pretty much anything you need him to. He'd be a great corner in that Spagnuolo defense with that Ruben Bain added to it. It's essentially the same first round that got you. It's kind of crazy. It's basically the same exact first round that gave you Karlaftis and also um, who they just traded, McDuffie. Like it's literally the same exact draft. You had Karlaftis the beginning of the first, and then you had and you have Trent McDuffie. So now it's just same thing, Ruben Bain, and then now Chris Johnson. Again, I think Chris Johnson's like a late first, early second kind of player. If I'm the Chiefs, I am loving the fact that I'll get him in the late first. Don't have to pay him barely anything, and he's gonna be a top corner for our system. I think he fits perfectly for them. Dolphins here again got to take best player available, and in my mind, that's Kojic Falk. Again, they need edge help. They need a guy, like I said, like Keldrick Falk, who's going to be more of a great run defender compared to what Chop Robinson is going to be. And just building block. Need a building block for Miami. So now you got Mawanoa and Keldrick Falk to build upon for his Miami defense, for his Miami offense. So in my mind, that's great. That's great for them. I love that for the Dolphins. Patriots. Okay, Chris, I'm all done with the first round. I'm going with Emmanuel McNeil Warren. I'm going with the safety over wide receiver because obviously they're going to go wide receiver with AJ Brown. Edge rusher. I think that the edge rushers at this particular time, they feel like they can get another guy in with the second round pick, which that's what I'm going to give to them, and I'll show you just in a second. But in my mind, Patriots. Like I said, this guy's been following Emmanuel McNeil Warren. He was a perfect fit for them as far as being like an all around kind of player. Love that. Love that for Mindy Warren for going to contender, and then for the Patriots getting a really really good stud kind of guy. Oh gosh. Okay. Again, I gotta go rapid fire. Still good analysis, but not take as long. All right. Last one. Seahawks. Like I said, need to help replace some of the top that they lost. There are people trying to say running back, so like Price is in here. I don't think so. They go edge rusher. Obviously, like I said with the Patriots thing, some of the edge rushers here, maybe they could go with like Mason Thomas or whatnot, but instead going after Tennessee cornerback Colton Hood. Again, I can see Colton Hood. I can see Brandon Cisse from South Carolina. In my mind, I'm just thinking like, hey, you need help in the cornerback room because one, I think Josh Jacobs is fine, but you need another kind of guy because right now Devon Witherspoon's about to get paid, and you need to make sure you get another kind of guy that's going to be, that can be dominant as well. And if you get Colton Hood, who I think is a great corner, get Colton Hood, pair him up with Devon Witherspoon, with Josh Jobe, with Nick Mawari, with like I said, safety in the back end. Like I said, I feel great. I feel great for Seattle. So love it to get Colton Hood. All right. Now round two. So again, it's going to be Jets, Cardinals, the Titans, kind of go in that order. Then you have Raiders. So I think it's going to go chalk. I think, like I said, I don't think anybody's going to trade at the beginning, even though that's a possibility. In my mind, with a lot of these top talents that are falling, I think they're going to stick and pick, take base available. Jets here. Jets are able to pair up teammates, former teammates, and Lee Hunter, which, like I said, they need a defensive tackle help. Yeah, they could go quarterback, but I don't think they're going to go quarterback. So again, you get Lee Hunter here to pair with uh, David Bailey. So like I said, you need instant impact kind of guys. So need that desperately. And it's also a 3-4 kind of defense. I like the Sweat with Lee Hunter combo. That's pretty nasty combo. Cardinals here again. You have Monty Osford that needs to make sure that he gets his guy. So if that's the case, hey, I'm going to Ty Simpson. Now I have drafted my QB. Hey, give me one more year. You've got great weapons. You got a pretty decent team. If Arvell Reese, that second half of season, continues to grow, Walter Nolan shows out, Will Johnson shows out, he's able to keep his job. He has a quarterback in Ty Simpson, and then he can add even more to the 2027 draft. Who knows? So again, if I'm the Cardinals, that's my pick. I don't trade it for Ty Simpson. I don't think people are going to try to get him. Yes, you get that fifth-year option, be great for you, but in my mind, just take him at 34. Don't give him another asset, and then at pick 65, take another BPA because at this rate, you need to make sure you get the best possible value you can possibly get. Titans. This is one that I have loved it so much because again, in my mind, I think that he's going to be higher on some people's boards. We already saw that from Peter Schrager's board, and he likes his talks around the league. I love the fact that yes, a lot of people are trying to say wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. Look at that offensive line. The offensive line for the Titans needs help, and I'm not taking the offensive line with the first round pick. So instead, I'm gonna get a second round pick. There's some great offensive linemen here. Sure, you go like corner. You can go not corner, but you can go like a tackle and move Latham into at guard. That could be an option like a Blake Miller or Maxi Onacher, maybe. But in my mind, you get a nasty kind of guy. This is going to be like that's absolutely going to be dominant in the run game, and that's Keelan Rutledge. I love Keelan Rutledge out of Georgia Tech. I think he's a stud. I think he's going to be great. And the Titans, yes, they could go after Denzel Boston. That's a possibility, but instead, you fix that offensive line, which desperately needs help. Because again, you have a young QB. You gotta protect a QB at all costs. So now the Raiders and the Raiders again. Yeah, you can take Denzel Boston. You can take wide receiver, but I'm sorry if I'm here. Unless I feel like Charles Grant is going to be your right tackle, I cannot have DJ Glaze be once again the right tackle. And if this falls the way it falls, and like I said, Blake Miller is there, are you telling me you're not going to take Blake Miller? Yes, you could take Denzel Boston for sure and be great, like um, a great pairing with Fernando Mendoza. But I'm sorry, Blake Miller at right tackle, Colton Miller at left tackle. You got your center for the future. You already got a great guard. You pretty much have filled up this offensive line that desperately need to be fixed because you got a dynamic running back. Now you got a rookie quarterback, and with the great offensive line that you have now, added Blake Miller. Now maybe your wide receivers show out a little bit more because they have a lot more time. Maybe, like I said, in a better system because again, way better than what they're going to have. Because good Lord, Chip Kelly could not call an offense to save a life. So again, if I'm in a Clint Kubiak system, hopefully I do better. And maybe we show that like, hey, this isn't too bad actually. Hey, maybe Jack Bech isn't too bad. Maybe he could be the new Sherrod in that kind of system. Maybe you can have Trey Tucker kind of show out and be like a Rashid Shaheed. I don't know. I have no idea, and we don't know either. So again, if sure you could go after wide receiver, sure. But if I'm the Raiders, I fix the situation right now, and then go in 2027 either on defense, wide receiver draft class for next year looks pretty good. So I said, getting Blake Miller. You can always try to get a wide receiver in the third round. I don't care. Or there might be some other stuff that comes up too. Again, I don't want to tip it too much, but it might be some more trades. I've already did 2 trades, right? Yes, I've only done 2 trades. So now for the Giants. This is what I said before. I thought maybe I almost pivoted to going to Giants, doing more so of a, you know, going for a Spencer Fano because I've heard they liked him. But instead, you get Sonny Styles, and you get a great guard, and Chase Pasantis. Chase Pasantis, welcome to New York. You are the right guard for the Giants, and the Giants will love you because they don't have to worry about Daniel Falele. They don't have to worry about Evan Neal. So they're feeling great. They're feeling fantabulous. So now, for the Texans, I picked 38. Texans, like I said, they are also looking for interior pressure. Not only were they able to get Manuel Pregnon to help them out as the offensive line, but now a player that's fallen because of obviously so much protection has fallen. Um, him not doing a lot of stuff in the offseason as far as like the combine, the pro day, all this kind of stuff, a little bit concerning. But if I am if I'm the Texans and I can get Peter Woods as well, ooh baby, Peter Woods an attacking defensive line with those edge rushers, that right there is dangerous. So, Texans were the first two picks. Get Emmanuel Pregnon and Peter Woods. I think Peter Woods is going to fall. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Um, you feel great. Why is it not showing up defense? Wait, hold a second. There we go. There we go. I wonder why it didn't show defense. It was just being dumb for a second. Yeah, Peter Woods to the Texans. Uh, dude, Browns. Browns are an interesting spot here. Obviously, like I said, you've got your wide receiver, um, you got your left tackle. Based upon who they look at, I think 39, right above the Chiefs is possibility for people to try to jump the Chiefs for a player. And in this particular case, there's a player that's fallen to the Browns that the Browns aren't going to take because they already got their wide receiver. And the Chiefs would definitely love this wide receiver. But instead, let's go see about these Dolphins. Why don't we? So again, Dolphins having a pretty good draft right now too, because again they got Kelsey Falk and Maui Noah, but they need to get that wide receiver for some Malik Neighbors, touch passes. Big body wide receiver, the kind of one that that the Packers would have liked. So trade up a couple spots, make sure you get them. And so in this case, you're going from 43 to 39. Again, not that much. And got the picks to do so. So let's just move up a little bit. So again, it's not that much. It's literally going to be 130, which is a fourth round pick, a mid to late fourth round pick. So again, 43, going up 4 spots, get only one on 130. Again, great trade as well for Cleveland because again, Cleveland now they get a fourth round pick that they can pair with either 146 or 149 and move up as well, or move up, in the third round if need be. Like with pick 7, they can move a little bit with that 130. So again, I think it's also great for the Browns who are going to take BPA, but they were able to get like an extra pick because of it. Again, I know you can probably tell, but I'm getting a little bit tired right now. It is 9:30, so I am long day. So let me try to move on through. It's getting my laptop's getting a little too hot. So Dolphins taking Denzel Boston. Love that for them. Again, Denzel Boston's great catch radius, got great release as well. The kind of guy that, like I said, the Packers would have loved. So again, it's basically Packers South. They're taking Denzel Boston. They fix that. They try to help fix the offensive line, defensive line. Now they get the wide receiver they desperately need. Now, Chiefs, again, man, we suck. We can't get our guy. Oh, no. Well, guess what? Let's just take the best available guy. Again, yes, injury concerns out the wazoo for this guy in particular. However, if I'm able to find a guy in the interior that can basically do on par at times what my big guy can do and Chris Jones, I'm taking Caleb Banks. And again, yes, that foot concern is very concerning. A big man with a foot problem, yes, is very concerning. But if I'm the Chiefs and I can think of possibly a way where I could have Caleb Banks, I could have Chris Jones, I could have Ruben Bain, and Karlaftis on the same defensive line, that is scary. It was already scary to begin with. That is dangerous. Dangerous. I know I'm basically building a second dynasty for the Chiefs with these picks, but it could happen. It can legitimately happen. I'm not doing anything that's weird. It Bane falling to 9 ain't that weird. Chris Johnson being a late first, early second ain't that weird. Caleb Banks falling to second round because of that foot is definitely going to happen. So again, it if that happens, I feel for the AFC West. Those offensive lines are not going to know what to do because Caleb Banks could basically be the replacement for Chris Jones, but Chris Jones is too old. So again, it's wouldn't be great for the AFC, that's for sure. All right, so Bengals. They were able to get their safety. They have actually looked at Peter Woods and T.J. Parker as possibility of them trying to trade up to try to get them. So it's possible they try to trade with like the Raiders or want to try to bypass, or maybe they trade up with the Giants to try to bypass the Texans for Peter Woods. Maybe But again, in my mind, people are gonna try to stick a pick. But the Bengals instead they go to get their cornerback. So they already got their safety for the future. Now they're going to get cornerback because their cornerback is also pretty bad too. And they get a guy they seem to like, and that's going to be Avion Terrell. Again, yes, the injuries kind of cause some concern, but if you're looking at defensive tackle room and the defensive tackle class is pretty bad, especially like now that most of the top guys are gone, I don't think that we're going to have any kind of thing where the thing is like, oh, we passed on defensive tackle. At this rate, it's not really somebody that you really wanted. So now you get Caleb Downs and also Avion Terrell. It's a great pairing for the Bengals to hopefully be able to fix a secondary that was atrocious last year. All right, so Saints. Saints off trick 1-2. So like I said, they got Mansur Delane. They fixed that secondary. Defense looks great because again, you got your Pete Warner, you got your Kate Ellison linebacker, you got your edge rushers. Hopefully, you have some more development from your interior defensive line. You're not gonna pick anybody right here, so you got to focus on offense. This has got to be a wide receiver pick. And if I'm looking at wide receivers, sure, you could go Bernard. That's a possibility. Sure. You could even go, possibly, maybe go up to tight end. I don't think you will, but maybe you do. But instead, you go after a guy that it has been reported that Tyler Shough has been very high on, and that's Chris Bell. Now, Chris Bell, yes, is coming off injury. That's very concerning for the Saints team. As I said before, do I think the Saints are going to try to take Jordan Tyson? No, because of that injury. But if it's a second-round pick, less risk. You already got your main guy, Mansur Delane. You get a guy that has great potential in Chris Bell, who was great before he, blew out his ACL. I'm pretty sure it was ACL. And you get a different kind of guy. Again, it's a different kind of guy from Chris Olave. It kind of that Vela role, but not really like getting like a bigger body kind of wide receiver, but he's got breakaway speed as well. So again, Chris Bell, I like him a lot. I'm concerned coming off the injury for sure, but I like Chris Bell a lot. So again, him going to the Saints, I think it's going to happen at this rate. I would hate for that to happen, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So now, like I said, Browns are here. They're loving it because again, nobody that they wanted to pick got picked because again they were pretty much fine on all the rookies. So instead, they look into the draft and be like, okay, well, let's see what we need to do. Okay, well, we got our left tackle future. Great. We got our wide receiver future. Great. What else we need? Quarterback? Nah, not going quarterback right here. Not going running back right here. Not going tight end. Yeah, you could go maybe a tight end. Maybe go for 2 tight ends instead. We're gonna try to get Eli Stowers. Nah, we're gonna go to our wide receiver right here. Okay, let's tight end right here. Okay, let's look at defense. The Browns desperately, and I do mean desperately, need help at edge. Because yes, you got Myles Garrett, great, but outside Myles Garrett, who do you really have? So if I am the Browns, and yes, you might say that he fits more of a 3-4 role, sure. But if I'm looking for a pass rusher to help out Myles Garrett, And I know the Browns like him because the Browns have visited him. Browns have made sure to look at him. That's R. Mason Thomas, baby. I love R. Mason Thomas so much. So again, I would love R. Mason Thomas to the Browns. That'd be a great pick for them because again, they get an edge rusher to pair with they get an edge rusher to pair with Myles Garrett. So again, that works perfectly for them. Now at 44. 44 for the Jets. Again, you're looking pretty good. You're like, oh, okay. So the Jets are the second round pick. Um, they have the pick of the litter, or do a trade? Because again, people are falling. There are some people who are falling, and the next up are the Ravens and the Bucks. Who could be ringing Darren Bougie's phone? Who could be going from 51 to 44? That would be the Panthers. Again, I think that the Panthers are going to be aggressive. I don't think that it's going to be in the first round. I think the first round would be a stick and pick. They possibly could they trade back. Sure, I don't think they're going to. But as I will say in my Panthers draft video, the last two draft cycles in the second and third round alone, the Panthers have traded those picks. Whether it be trading back to trade back up, whether it be trading up, whether it be they don't stick and pick in these on day two. They don't. So I would be very surprised if we do so. So instead, when he feels like he wants to get his guy, he is going to trade to get him. And his guy is still there, but there's a possibility that maybe, just maybe, the Bucks want his guy. The Bucks need linebacker help. So, if that's the case, give me 51 and 191 for 44. And that right there is dropping down 9 spots for a 4th round pick. That gives you a trade of, what was it again? Like 50.5, 50.2. Let's add in something else. I think I added something else, didn't I? Yes, I did. I added in a 7th. So I'm adding in a 2027 7th. Again, is it that high? No. But it's another pick. And we have 2 7ths because we have Baltimore Ravens 7th round pick. So, I think it kind of sweetens the pot enough. It gives you technically 3 picks for your 1 pick, and you only drop it down, 7 spots. So if you're the Jets, you're taking that. So 51 from 191 and a 7th round pick in 2027. I made our pick instead of the Ravens, so kind of help out the Jets a little bit. There you go. And now we get Jacob Rodriguez. And so now I am feeling great. I've got Kay McDonald. I've got Jacob Rodriguez. I feel like we still need a free safety, but we can get that in this deep safety class. I feel amazing if I'm the Panthers, if I say so myself, and I'm hoping that all other teams are happy about my mock draft for them as well. So, again, I'm trying to go rapid fire because, again, I can already feel myself feeling tired. So, Ravens right here. Ravens is kind of simple. Well, not simple, but it is a best player available at this point. Could they go Eli Stowers? Sure, go tight end to kind of like replace Isaiah Likely, and for him to be the eventual replacement for Mark Andrews, maybe, possibly, that could be an option. Or could they possibly get a guy who is, I think, going to be a great developmental tackle, who they have shown interest in, who Ronnie Stanley has been missing games. He is very expensive, and possibly could move on from him and be able to save some more cap room because I think this guy's gonna be an absolute stud. It's Max Honicher from the Arizona State Sun Devils. Again, I think he's gonna go earlier than this. Just kind of the way the draft board went, I didn't feel comfortable with him going to some of these other places. Like again, for the Raiders, I felt more comfortable with now getting to Blake Miller. I do think there's a possibility that there could be a run on tackles in the first round, but in my mock, I didn't have that happen. But we could see it. We could see like Max Honicher going instead of Monroe Freeling go to the Eagles. You could have Max Honicher going to the Eagles in the first round. Who knows? But again, in my mock, I have him going there. I think that Ravens are feeling pretty good. So now in the Bucks, and this is an easy pick too. This is going to be C.J. Allen if he's there. If again, I think C.J. Allen's going to fall a little bit and not participating in after like the off season stuff. The kind of combine that I think is kind of a dumb thing to do, but the kind of combine that Jacob Rodriguez had helped elevate him a little bit. So again, I think you're feeling great for the Buccaneers. Yes, maybe you might not agree with me with the Mesidor, but I think that you're fine with getting Mesidor and C.J. Allen for the hopefully be able to fix that front seven that desperately needs it, and get a guy that is definitely a top Bowles kind of guy in C.J. Allen. So maybe it saves Todd Bowles' job, and then you hate me because this is the picks. I know you'll hate them. Colts are their first pick of the day. So Colts, like I said, pick 47. Could go a lot of different ways. I like the fact that yes, they need edge rusher, and yes, they would love to have a linebacker here, but I think it's a little too early for some of that. So instead, go defense, go edge rusher. What kind of edge rusher do we want to get? We get a high motor kind of guy. And a high motor kind of guy for me, edge rusher, is going to be Malachi Lawrence. I love Malachi Lawrence out of UCF. You'll learn more about that. I'm going to do edge rushers class. I love him. Great high motor. He's the kind of guy that's going to be able to replace Kwity Paye. So you get edge rusher, pair him up with Latu Latu. And you're just hoping and praying that you're just hoping and praying that you continue to improve, and hopefully the Colts can finally win the division for the first time since who knows when. It's been a long time. So Falcons, well, they're also the first pick of the second round, the first pick ever. First pick of the 2026 draft. Again, you can tell that I am losing my mind right now. I don't know why, but my mind just goes places. So Falcons, you need some help in the cornerback room. Again, wide receiver would be great for sure. However, I don't get that QB2 and you need not QB but CB2, and you need a little help. You just need just some smidge. So if I'm the Falcons situation, could go a lot of different directions. But in my mind, we go for Brandon Cisse, sorry. Brandon Cisse out of South Carolina. Dynamic kind of guy, great build, hand paired up with Terrell. You already got great secondary help when you got Xavier Watts, which crushed me to this day. I'm still upset about that for a long time. I hopefully don't have another draft reaction like that, because that one was that was so crushing. That was so crushing. When I thought the Panthers were going to take him, we took Umamio, which is fine. I was fine. For some reason, I mixed him up with Braden Spencer, which was wrong. Um, but the fact is that I love Xavier Watts too much, and then seeing Xavier Watts go into the Falcons hurt me so much. And then you got Billy Bowman, which sucked even more because he's a great nickel. So now you got Billy Bowman be your nickel, and you got Brandon Cisse, and now you got Avion Terrell. That'd be a great, not Avion, AJ Terrell. That'd be a great pairing for your secondary for the Falcons. You desperately need. Yes, Kevin McGarry just retired, but you're able to pair him up with Jawan Taylor. So again, the Falcons are feeling pretty good. So again, Falcons take Brandon Cisse. Now to the Vikings. So the Vikings, you took Kenyon Sadiq. So now you're feeling great. Oh, I took Kenyon Sadiq. Yeah. I'll be able to get replacement for my guy. Well, looks like a replacement possibly for Ivan Pace, who was not the best last year. I loved Ivan Pace coming out. Best blitzing linebacker that I've seen in a while. He was undrafted. And last year did not do the best. So looking at linebacker help for this Vikings team, and a guy they like, and a guy that I think would flourish in Flores' system is Jake Goldday from Cincinnati. Love him to death. Like I said, big body Cincinnati, who's got great physicality, who's got great finesse as well, can actually cover, which is kind of crazy as big as he is, can cover as well as he does. But again, that's great for you, because again, he can be like your linebacker for the future. So again, love Jake Goldday going to the Vikings. You pair him up. So again, you have Kenyon Sadiq. You got Jake Goldday. You got two athletic freaks for your first two picks for the Vikings. And again, you're going with a interim GM who doesn't know if he's going to be staying there long term. Just take the best guys. And like I said, in my mind, that is going to be Jake Goldday. So again, at this rate, because I think there's might be like a little run on linebackers in the second round, if I had to guess. I think that's going to happen, something like that. Definitely run on some position. Now back to the Lions. The Lions take Peyton Proctor first of all. So now it's looking more of a preparing for AJ Hutchinson. That's going to be TJ Parker again. TJ Parker is a power rusher, great run defender that for some reason fell off, just like pretty much all the Clemson players did. Fell off this past year. But TJ Parker falling all the way to the 50 is not a bad thing for the Lions. I mean, you're looking at potentially, hey, we're doing fine. We have now our tackle for the future to pair with our tackle, our the potential Hall of Fame tackle for Penei Sewell whenever he keeps it going. And now you got T.J. Parker pairing up with Aiden Hutchinson. That's great for the Lions because, again, you need to find that dynamic duo. And so now you find out with T.J. Parker. Now, Jets, we feel great. Hey, I traded down to 51, and I got another pick, and my guy is still here. And the guy that I'm talking about is someone that, as I mentioned before, I mentioned how Hayden McDonald has got to have like 10 draft visits. He's got a whole bunch of draft visits. But the one that blows him out of the water is Trayden Stukes. Is it Stukes or is it Stukes? I can't remember. But from Arizona, he's older prospect. Yeah, a little bit of problem. But he's a team leader. He's the kind of guy that you desperately want. He knows where he's going. And that cornerback room needs some help. So you got your wide receiver for the future. You got your edge rusher for the future. You got a defensive tackle to pair up to be able to get some interior pressure. And now you're able to get a cornerback that kind of helps out your defense. And that's, like I said, is a leader. So again, you need the kind of culture builder. So again, I think he's a culture builder. He's a culture builder for the Jets. So you're feeling great because again, I think that it's a little bit high for Stukes. But again, if you're the Jets, who cares if it's higher than 10 picks? Again, I hate that argument of like, oh, you were too high for me. Oh, you would have taken it 10 picks later, and then that's such a big deal for you. That doesn't matter. 10 picks is not that big of a difference. If I pick a running back at 6 compared to 16, sure, that's a little bit of a difference. But if we're in the second round, that don't make that much difference. Anyways, not really a rant, but just something in my nose. All right, so Packers, 52. So again, Packers haven't picked yet. They also get the first pick of the first round, the first pick of the second round, first pick of the draft, 52. Who they're gonna go for? They gotta go for corner as well. That's the reason why I said for the Jets because again, Jets are moving down, not really losing out any kind of potential cornerback they could be looking for. They get their guy. Packers though looking at well, let's see what we can do. Well, crap, we lost out Stukes, who we would definitely liked. Instead, let's get an ultra competitive guy at corner who, yes, he's small. I do not care. I love D'Angelo Pons. D'Angelo Pons is a dog. He's a great dude. And I would love to see him in the Packers. Now, obviously, like I said, you're looking more at a great safety team with cornerbacks that are a little bit lower on. So are you still seeing Keyshawn Nixon as a QB1 and then Pons being the number 2? Maybe, who knows? But in my mind, like I said, Pons is just a dog, and I think you're happy if you get him. Just happy if you get him. Now, going on to Steelers. So again, Steelers got their tackle / guard, depending on where they put him, with Spencer Fano. Now, second round pick. Again, quarterback. No, I'm just kidding. They're not going to quarterback. But do it in front of the fans. What do the fans want? Fans want a wide receiver. Fans want a wide receiver because you got your Metcalf, you got your from the Colts, Michael Pittman. So you got your two big body kind of wide receivers, two big guys. But we don't have that savvy technician kind of guy that's just so dependable. It's technically Michael Pittman, but what I'm talking about. And I also this also for the wide receiver video that I do. I don't know why, but I got this vision of Jeremy Bernard just being a prototypical Packers wide receiver in the 2010s. And again, I only started really watching the NFL for real in the 2010s when I was 10 to 11 years old. So my reference point is like James Jones, Donald Driver kind of esque, like about 6'1", 200-ish pounds, but just like reliable hands, knows how to get open, and you can depend on them. That is Jerry Bernard to me. And if I can get Jerry Bernard for the Steelers, I'm feeling great because I got Jerry Bernard, I got Michael Pittman, and I got DK Metcalf to help me out. Please give me that. Give me that. Jerry Bernard to the Steelers. I love that pick for the Steelers. And they also got their linemen. So we feel good. We're feeling great. Eagles. Awesome. Better watch the Auburn lose to Florida right now. Eagles, pick 54. So let me run through this again. 54. So, as I mentioned before, they got their Monroe Freeland. They got their tackle for the future. They go wide receiver here? No, don't go wide receiver here. No. Instead, you're looking at the Eagles and you're like, who could possibly be leaving as well? We already did a replacement for. Goodness, that was a terrible pitch. We already did a replacement for Lane Johnson. Who else could we do a replacement for? Yes, need to improve on blocking for sure, but that wide receiver option and a tight end body, great hit. Thank the Lord we got on base. But if there is a way that Eli Stowers can go to the Eagles and first of all do a great tight end set for the first year and then take over, hopefully improve his blocking because again he technically was a tight end for 3 years at this point because he's from quarterback. He's got a great eye for zone. He is intact. He's basically a big body wide that just knows how to get open. That's why I love him so much. I love Eli Stowers. So again, would love Eli Stowers going to the Eagles, but again, I know they would know how to use him. Hopefully, Sean may know how to use them. But again, I think it'll be great for the Eagles. Get a great 2 tight end set and eventual replacement for Dallas Goedert. So yes, the Eagles' 2 picks are basically like preparing for the future, but it also just getting talented guys in general. So just basically be talented cheap contracts. That's what you need for the Eagles. Wherever you can find it. That's a double play. Yeah, double play. Oh, we got safe. Ooh, thank the Lord. All right, so technically, it's still 6-3. Auburn down. Chargers. Again, sorry I'm taking so long. My brain's mush. So Chargers are here, and obviously, like I said, they need some help on the offensive line. They did sign some guys, but in my mind, decent improvement. So you got your edge. Now you gotta go guard. And in my opinion, it might be early for some people, but I don't think so. So I think he fits great in Mike McDaniel's system. Did he make it? Yes, he made it. That's pretty easy. All right, Jennings Dunker. Jennings Dunker, the mullet floating in the wind, what he's running, just majestic as all can be. I love Jennings Dunker moving inside. He's got great agility. I think he'd be a perfect fit for the Chargers, and you got dynamic rusher for the dynamic edge rusher in the first round, and then you got your guy Jennings Dunker that you desperately need in the second round. So again, you're feeling great. Hopefully. Jaguars, their first pick of the draft. What could they possibly do? Corner. They need corner. So you got Travis Hunter. But you need a guy to go with them. So this also who I love, and I know that they also love as well as they brought him on visits, and I know they're not going to do as many visits because that's what Gladstone said. He's like, well, we didn't do it at the Rams, I'm going to do it now. So in my mind, I think they go after. Again, this is just my opinion, but I love Keith Abney. I love Keith Abney. I think he's a solid dude. He was great for ASU last year. ASU didn't have quite the year they wanted to, but I think he was great for them last year. And if I'm able to have, where is he at? There he is. I'm going to have Keith Abney as my corner 2 with Travis Hunter. It's a great duo for the next 4 years, depending on if Keith Abney's able to get a second contract. Travis Hunter more likely to get a second contract. So, now, Bears. The Bears. So again, the Bears, they got Zion Young with their first round pick. Ooh. More striking stuff. But in my mind, Bears need help at safety. They could have in the first round gone after Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. That was a possibility. And there we go. Yep, Auburn lost 6-3. But in my mind, if I'm the Bears, I'm looking at potential safety. Now, this is technically a safety corner hybrid, depending on what you feel like he's going to be in the NFL. I think he can be more of like a box safety slash big nickel. Um, that's Keontae Scott. I love him. He was a star position at Auburn, and also I'm Auburn fan, I didn't know, and also at Miami. Goodness gracious, don't know why I was losing my mind. But again, he was basically that star position. Played in the box heavily. Great run defender. You already have your, you already have your, get turnovers kind of guys. He's the kind of guy that's going to be like, Greg gets a run that you desperately need to fix. Yes, you can definitely try to look for trying to get a defensive tackle like Dexter Lawrence, maybe possibly trading for, but you also just need more help on the back end as far as having great run stuffers, and so that's what kind of helps you with, especially in the secondary, getting a sure tackler, and that is for sure Keontae Scott. Now, for the 49ers here, okay? 49ers, they're 58. They're like, well, we could stick a pick, or we could trade down. And as I said before, the Raiders could trade up. And yes, I know there is the Raiders versus the San Francisco 49ers, but like they haven't been in San Francisco for a while now. So obviously it's still a big deal, but I don't think it's as big of a deal as it used to be. I might be reading the room wrong because again, I'm not in California, so I am just assuming. But when you assume, you make a out of you and me. But in my mind, if I'm 49ers and I don't like how the board's falling, and the Raiders like, please, please let me get up, I take it because again, you don't have a lot of picks, and the Raiders have a ton of picks. So again, you go from 67 all the way to 58, and again you get 117. So you trade down to the third. You get a fourth round pick as well. So you get a third and a fourth round pick to pair with your other fourth round picks. You got like three of them. So you're going to be able to trade back up in the fourth if need be. But you trade down to the third, get another fourth, you can be able to trade back up as well. And like I said, get more value picks. So I like that for the 49ers. I mean, like it's like a 51.8. Like I said, it's a big trade, but I think that the Vegas Raiders got to give a little bit to be able to move from the third to the second, moving up 9 spots. So I think that's fair enough. And like I said, I think that if you're the Raiders, you're giving up a lot to make sure you get your guy. And what I mean by your guy is this, okay? Who does the Raiders need? You need a guy that can get open. Plain and simple. You need a guy that can get open. Who can get open? And who's the wide receiver that just so happens to possibly be from the area? Does anybody know? Well, if you are not a Georgia fan, or you are not a fan of Zachariah Branch, that is what I'm talking about. Zachariah Branch, yeah, I want to make sure you get him. Putting Zachariah Branch on the Raiders is one, great homecoming for him. Secondly, get a wide receiver who I'm sorry, and I'm going to say it about Oscar Delp too, especially when we do a tight end video. I hate Mike Bubba with a passion, and I think that he has been a catalyst for not using players correctly. The fact that he has a contact like Oscar Delp, and he just misused him. I feel like he misused Zachariah Branch too, because Zachariah Branch is an absolute dog. So, literally. So again, if I'm the Raiders, I get Zachariah Branch. I get a guy who can get open. I get a guy who can be a gadget player too, if it may be. Like I said, in that system, I have him as like a gadget slash whatever you kind of need him for. And he's that kind of guy. Um, and then you're hoping they have more development from the other wide receivers. But like, I think it's a great stepping stone because again, you got you if you're the Raiders, you got your QB for the future. You fix your offensive line for your running back and your quarterback, and then now you've got a dynamic player in Zachariah Branch who also is the dadgum like nephew of what's his first name Branch, who's a big was like I said one of the closest friends of Mark Davis. So again, like I'm just saying it makes perfect sense. I'm saying it makes perfect sense that the Raiders are going to try to take Zachariah Branch. And are they going to wait to the third round? I don't think so. They're going to try to get him. So again, if I'm the Raiders, I'm making sure I get Zachariah Branch to make sure he's trying to go to the Rams. That would suck for you. So, and also, it helps. I mean, like I said, they got Omar Cooper Jr., but in case of the Rams didn't get Omar Cooper Jr., I could see them in the second round trying to get Zachariah Branch. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I lose my mind a little bit because, again, it's not super to relate, but my mind is gone because, again, it's been a long day. And you might be able to see that in my eyes. So, last couple of picks. I'm going to make sure there's no kind of comments. I don't think there's anybody watching right now. No, it has been for quite a couple hours. That's because I haven't been posting anything, unfortunately. That's fine. It's okay. It was last mock draft. People are gonna make comments afterwards. It is 10:02. Woo! Okay, so we have 6 more picks. Texans. Texans win a pick for the Texans. That's right. May it be early for some people? Sure. Is he coming off injury? Yes. But is he a perfect fit for the Texans? And he fixes a center problem? Yes, he is. And that is Connor Lew out of Auburn. Love Connor Lew. Yes, technically consistent board has him in the 80s because of an injury. I don't care. The talent says second round pick. Yes, I'm an Auburn fan. I don't care. I'm not being biased. I'm being truthful. He is awesome. Connor Lew is the kind of guy that you can have a second contract for. And that's hard to do sometimes. But like if you're the Texans and you're able to get Emmanuel Pregnon, get Peter Woods, and Connor Lew, that's a great draft. That's a great draft. I'd probably take a linebacker in the third round to kind of like help your depth or help replace your Toto. You feel great. You feel amazing. Bears now. Bears here. Now again, I think that they're going to try to trade for Dexter Lawrence, but until they do so, they need defense tackle help. Now, it does suck that, unfortunately, you weren't able to get Cam McDonald. You want to reach on Christian Miller? So let's see what else you do. So you got your edge rusher to kind of pair with Montez Sweat. You got your safety in Keontae Scott. And now you look for a defensive tackle, and who could you possibly be? It could possibly be Big Citrus, Dominic Orange. I love Big Citrus. He's a dynamic, well, not really dynamic. He's more just like a solid run defender, dude. That's not going to be moved. Not going to be moved. And he gives it his all, but he does not have the biggest motor. Not the biggest motor. Sorry, I'm underselling him. Yeah, mine's kind of going a little bit. He's got a great motor. It is not able to run that much though. He's like the kind of car that looks nice. He's going to give you a nice little burst. It maybe work on his conditioning a little bit, but he also just big old dude. He's a big old dude, so you can't really move him that much. But again, you need nose guard. You need nose tackle. You need a guy who's not going to be able to be moved easily. If you're the Bears, stout against the run. And now you got Zion Young, who's also a great run defender and also a great pass rusher. The pair of Montez was a great run defender and also a great pass rusher. So again, you got a great defensive line. That's hopefully, like I said, with continued improvement by Austin Booker for those pass rush situations. And then you're just looking at this fact like, hey, you know what? I've got some great pieces in this defense. I'm able to replace some of the people that I lost, and I'm looking and I'm possibly trying to have a lot of my young guys just continue to develop. If you're the Bears and you're feeling great, all right. Last 4 picks, Rams. Man, Rams. You're able to get your guy and Omar Cooper Jr. Now, what you're going to do? Well, I don't want to say it's unorthodox, but I will say that it is not something that they have shown to do, but is something that they've shown that they like. And I think it's a perfect opportunity for them to take this player, and that is Anthony Hill Jr. I think Anthony Hill Jr. is probably going to fall in the third round, so it's not that weird for me taking in the second round. Yes, I know the Rams don't typically value linebackers, but if you have a guy like him who falls to you, and you really need like a replacement for Spites, you got Hill next to Landman. Bro, it's a great combo. So again, I would love that for the Rams. They're trying to do all-in push, so why not try to improve on? That's a great catch by Arkansas. But why not try to improve on you know, one of your weak links? So again, Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas. This is a chalky pick too. It's the first pick for the Broncos. If he's there, I'm taking this, and that's going to be Jadarian Price out of Notre Dame. They need running back help. Obviously, yes, you got R.J. Harvey, you got J.K. Dobbins. You don't really have like that number one kind of guy. Like with the Texans, yeah, sure, they could try to go after Price with their second round pick. But at the same time, like you got Dan Montgomery, you got Woody Marks as your basically your number two. Do you really want to invest that high of a pick for guy who might get 8 carries a game? I don't think so. So again, I think for the Broncos, you get Jadarian Price, and you feel amazing because he's going to be a great back, especially depending on where he goes. Last two, kind of rapid fire. As I said before, I said that the Patriots could go with the edge rusher here, but I like an edge rusher for them later on, and this is what's going to be. You got McNeil Warren in the first round. Great safety prospect to help you out in the back end. But now you get an edge rusher who's a great power rusher that fits your mold as an edge rusher and hope he can take over Harold Landry, and that is going to be Gabe Jacas out of Illinois. That's foul. So, Gabe Jacas going to New England, so you got a great safety prospect. You got Gabe Jacas, that's great for you. Now for the last one, that is the Seahawks. Seahawks, you got Colt Hood with the first pick, so that's going to replace your cornerback just went to the Eagles. Goodness gracious, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm gonna lose my mind right now. But you lost him, Tariq Woolen, and now you're looking for another potential replacement. Could you go edge rusher? Sure, you could try to go edge rusher to replace which you lost, but I don't think you're gonna go edge rusher here. Instead, this is a guy who's fallen, who should have had fallen. I love him so much, and I want him to go to the Panthers, but we're probably not going to try a trade to get him. But man, I would love it if we did. AJ Halsey out of the free safety out of LSU. Absolute dog. I mean, he's a great free safety. He lays the boom as well. He picks the ball off a lot. He would be a perfect fit for the Seahawks to be able to replace who they lost. So now you have, you got the fact that you have AJ Halsey, you have Emmanuel McNeil, not Emmanuel, you have Nick Emmanwori, you have Devon Witherspoon, you have Colton Hood as your like young cornerback safety duo. That's crazy work. That is crazy work by Seahawks if that happens. But again, that's my 3.0. I know that it was difficult because again, unfortunately didn't get to have in the background my what my prediction was. Unfortunately, I hate that happened. But thanks so much for watching. Again, this is over 2 hours. Most, like I said, for a little bit, I had to try to figure out what I was gonna do, but it must be a 2 hour draft. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Like I said, if you like some of the picks that I made, some of the ones you might question, I'd love to hear your comments. Like I said, last mock draft, the one who's talking about not taking Ty Simpson, I think that's pretty fair. Like I said, I think that there's a possibility they take tackle, and that's what I've been kind of pushed to kind of feeling like they're going to try to trade, try to get tackle, like I said, try to get their pick of the litter. So again, I love to hear your comments. Love to hear maybe like if you agree, if you disagree. I love to hear what you have to think. So and then prepare for some more videos coming out soon before the draft happens next week. And then like I said, we'll be streaming that as well. So thanks for watching. For those who are watching later on, and I'll see you on the next one.